everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the virtual Bushmills banquet in association with the Bushmills Business Association. Always a sellout in the past, tonight's banquet offers guests an unparalleled evening of great food utilising local produce, entertainment, music and of course Bushmills whisky. We also get to meet some of the producers from the award-winning Naturally North Coast Market. Therefore, I won't keep you waiting any longer. It's time for the banquet to begin, and we start our visual journey from our Dine Around Bushmills starting point, the oldest licensed distillery in the world, the famous Old Bushmills Whisky Distillery. Enjoy your evening.
This place tells the story of Irish whisky. The Bushmills story is written on the rain and the rocks and across the hills and streams here on our wild north coast. And this is our original, what we stand for, what we're known for. A mellow whisky with delicate fruity notes, triple distilled for that distinctive, smooth, elegant Bushmill finish. On the nose, there's vanilla, toasted oats, caramel notes. Take a sip, and straight away you get that characteristic Bushmill smoothness, hints of vanilla and a rich fruitiness on the tongue, lingering honey sweetness coming through. Because our single malt whisky is at the heart of the blend, there's a beautifully balanced complexity on the palate, a taste like no other.
So here's another simple long drink you can make on for a nice summer's evening. It's a Bushmills martini. Now, to make it, it's very simple. You take a measure of black bush, add it to the glass, a nice little shot of martini, not too much now, and in we go, and we then add apple juice, and finally just a couple of dashes of orange bitters. Give it a nice stir, and there you have it. Cheers.
Thank you, Seamus, for that superb demonstration, and I hope you guys will be having a go at that one yourself later. Now, it's time for some music, and we consider ourselves very fortunate to have such fine musical talent on our Bushmills banqueting team. It's my pleasure to introduce Tartine head chef Stephen Lampard and his extremely talented wife Adele for this next Bushmills inspired performance.
To spend my nights out in a bar room. Liquor was the only love I've known. But you rescued me from reaching for the bottom and brought me back from being too far gone. As smooth as Bushmills whiskey, you're as sweet as strawberry wine. You're as warm as a glass of brandy, and honey, I stay stoned on your love all the time. I've looked for love
There's nothing like your love to get me high. You're as smooth as Bushmills whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry wine. You're as warm as a glass of brandy. And honey, I'd stay stoned on your love all the time. You're as smooth as Bushmills whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry wine. You're as warm as a glass of brandy. And honey, I'd stay stoned on your love all the time. You're as smooth as Bushmills whiskey. Bushmills whiskey. Bushmills whiskey. Oh, you're as smooth as Bushmills whiskey.
It's now time for our sumptuous first course, which is very much a collaborative affair. From the beautiful French rooms, we have Stella Bolton, who's cooking a delicious dish from her menu, and a dish from one of our banquet partners, the Codsway. We also have a savoury crepe demo from the unique Peckish Pony, a firm favourite at the Naturally North Coast Market. Bon appétit.
Good evening, my name is Stella Bolton from the French Rooms, and you're very welcome to this virtual Bushmills banquet. For my course this evening, I'm going to prepare a cheese fondue. Now the cheese I ordered from Brockgammon Farm Shop, got it delivered to my doorstep. And the homemade focaccia bread, well, the great ingredient there that I use is this beautiful brighter gold garlic infused oil. So we're in Bushmills, so it would be remiss of us if we didn't take advantage of the Bushmills Irish whiskey, which is also on our doorstep. So I'm going to use my personal favourite, the Bushmills Irish honey, in my fondue as well. So we'll start with the focaccia bread. Highlights of the Bushmills banquet has been, after I've served the first course from the French Rooms, Geoffrey McKillop from the Codsway and Hip Chip arrives into the marquee with big trays of hand-cut chips and salmon goujons, and it's a showstopper, it's a real crowd pleaser. So tonight they very kindly shared the secret recipe with me, and I'm going to do some hand-cut McCurdy's chips, or from McCurdy's potatoes, and I'm using North Coast Smokehouse salmon. I'm going to do a light tempura batter, and we'll try our best to emulate the great Geoffrey McKillop's show-stopping fish and chips. So I've got the flour and corn flour in the bowl, and just add a bit of smoked salt, and then I'm going to whisk in the chilled sparkling water, and then we'll be ready to dip the salmon and get it into the oil. While our tempura is cooking away there, we're going to do a really quick dipping sauce to go with the salmon. So we've got some good quality mayonnaise here. We have some harissa. It's quite hot, so if you don't like it too spicy, just cut down the portion, or just simply add some tomato ketchup if you don't like the heat. And then we'll do a squeeze of lime and give it a good stir. Okay, so the salmon bites are ready, so I'm just going to take these out. They're nice and crispy. And going to drain them off, and we're almost ready to serve. So we're ready to plate up the Codsway dish. So we've got our spicy dip here, the mayonnaise with the harissa and lime. We've got our McCurdy's hand-cut French fries, which have been deep fried, and then we've got the lovely North Coast Smokehouse salmon in a very light tempura batter. And I'm going to just pop those on. It would normally be served on the communal table so guests can share and discuss the flavours. So there we go, that's it. So I really hope I've done Jeffrey and the fantastic team at the Codsway proud this evening in my attempt to emulate their showstopper, and I hope you enjoy it, and we'll move on then to the other dishes. So I'm gently heating my fondue pan, and of course I've got the Bushmills Irish honey here, and I'm going to add that to the pan and just let it heat. And then I'm going to add the lovely selection of cheese, and I've got a wee bit of corn flour here on the side. I don't think I'm going to need it, but it's quite useful if you just want to thicken the fondue up. But I don't think we'll just review it. So I'll add in a good dollop of the beautiful base of the pan there and let it heat through. Yeah, it smells delicious, Bushmills, and we'll add in our mixture of Irish cheeses, and we're just going to, oh, it smells so good. We're just going to let them gently melt there. Yeah, that's nicely melted and it smells lovely. You can still smell the nice whiskey, and right, we'll just have a go, see what it's like. It's a great sharing dish, and yeah, that looks great. I won't indulge quite yet, but can't wait.
Go on.
One thing we definitely miss is our collaborative events. We all enjoy working together here in Bushmills, so really looking forward to getting back to some sense of normal, get our businesses open and start our events again like the Dine Around. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening and hope to see you all soon.
Hi, I'm Darrell Wilson from Peckish Pony Crepes, and also, as you see below me, Boar's Back Whisky Barrels as well. I'm here today at home just outside Ballybogey, and I'm going to do a demonstration of one of our savoury crepes, which we would usually make at this time of the year at local markets and local fairs as well. But obviously we're not out and about this year, so we're going to do a demonstration here today for you using some fresh local produce. As I was saying, usually at this time of the year we will be somewhere around the north coast. Should it be Ballycastle, Bushmills, Portrush, or in the Glens at one of the many locally run artisan markets, where we serve fresh, sweet and savoury crepes. Unfortunately that is not the case this year, so hopefully things get back to normal soon and we get back out and about. So we've started off with some of our fresh crepe mix, which we cook on here at 200 degrees. Just to maybe run you through some of the ingredients we're using as well. We have a fresh cream cheese, some absolutely wonderful smoked salmon from the North Coast Smokehouse, and then we have a range of garnishes as well, which we'll be using for these. So we'll cook our crepe on here at about 200 degrees just for a few minutes, until we start to see the bubbles appearing through the batter, and at that stage we can pop this over and let that cook for a second or two before we add our fillings. Start off with some of this cream cheese. Got lots of that on there. It's good for you. And then the main ingredient, the North Coast Smokehouse salmon, which is absolutely wonderful. And then we'll finish it off with some garnish of fresh peppers, which are cut by my lovely assistant. Some chopped chives, and then lemon zest. And we'll just check, see how that crepe's coming on. Just a few more seconds and that'll be ready. Because the crepes are so thin, they cook really quickly. Nice and low calorie as well, so a healthy snack too. And get these folded over to a cone. And that is our fresh local produce savoury crepe ready to go. Here today working on some of my barrel furniture. It's a bit of a diversification story, I suppose. Usually at this time of year I work in event catering, making crepes and gourmet food at many of the wonderful events that we have around the Causeway Coast and in the Glens as well. But obviously those aren't happening at the moment due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So I've went back to my joinery roots and I'm taking advantage of having a stock of these wonderful Bushmills Distillery Grade A oak barrels. And a few weeks ago I decided to make some of these into bespoke handmade items, garden furniture for people, including garden benches, outdoor drinks cabinets, and basically any other bespoke orders or bits and pieces that customers ask me for. And thankfully it's been a blessing in disguise, and it's dovetailed into the advice at the moment where people are maybe more so than ever enjoying their homes and gardens and self-isolating as well. So it adds maybe a more special, bespoke and local element to many local gardens as well. And it's absolutely fantastic. These barrels have maybe had whisky in them up to maybe 30 to 40 years, and whenever they reach the end of that life, it's great to breathe some new life into them as well, and restore them and upcycle them, and they can find their way into people's homes, and it's keeping me busy as well during what would have been a busy time elsewhere out on the food circuit.
Didn't that all look delicious? And I will definitely be placing an order for one of those barrel planters. Next, we have some more music. Another talented couple who are famed for their delicious locally produced hot smoked salmon. But their talents know no bounds, as they are also musically gifted. Let me introduce Rory Morrison and Melanie Brown from the North Coast Smokehouse.
Hello, I'm Rory.
And I'm Melanie.
We're from North Coast Smokehouse. The Salmon and Whisky Festival would normally be a real highlight of the year for us. One of our most popular products is the smoke roasted organic salmon from Glenarm. but unfortunately we've had to suspend operations because of the lockdown, so we'll not be producing any smoked salmon or smoked trout or smoked pollen this year, sadly.
Yes, unfortunately most of our customers are closed because of the COVID-19 situation, hospitality, cafes, restaurants, etc. But we are still selling some of our salt and pepper, our smoked sea salt and smoked pepper. We have it available on our internet site because we still have stock. You can Google us on northcoastsmokehouse.com and order some of that if you like. We've moved to these sachets rather than glass jars because with the sachets we can easily print off your postage and just put them in a mailbox. We don't have to go to the post office. So we're being very conscious about social distancing. And what else have we been up to?
Well, the lockdown has obviously meant we've got more spare time in our hands. We're not at the smokehouse working. The markets that we normally would sell at, they've been suspended till further notice as well. But that's given us lots of time to fit in the usual sort of things, you know, a bit of gardening, a bit of DIY.
A bit of homeschooling?
Homeschooling for our 2 children. They're at home with us at the moment as well. We've been trying to make sourdough bread along with the rest of the country, and I must admit I've now got great admiration for all the professional bakers out there. I don't know how they do it. But the main thing probably that we've been doing is focusing on our music, and it's given us a chance to play music. We all play music in the family, that's great. And we came across a tune recently called the Bushmills Fancy, and so we'd like to play that for you now.
Hello everyone, I'm Gary from Tartine at Distillers Arms, and I'd like to tell you all about our new Tartine Gourmet home delivery service. If you're craving restaurant style food, then look no further. Customers can make bookings by phone Monday to Friday on 028 207 31044, or you can order it and pay online at our website distillersarms.com. Deliveries are on Saturday and Sunday mornings, and we have 4 menus. We have a 3-course Saturday dinner menu, we have a 2-course Sunday lunch menu, we have a vegan menu, and we have a kiddies menu. So the concept is that on delivery you'll have a menu inside with some very simple instruction for home finishing touches. So please check out all our social media and visit our website for details. Thank you. Hi everybody, it's Gary from Tartine at Distillers Arms, and I hope you're enjoying the virtual Bushmills banquet so far. We have the pleasure of doing the main course today, so I will be demoing a wild venison braised, and we're going to be serving that with root vegetables and a spiced Bushmills whiskey jus. So let's go through the ingredients. So I'm going to be using the Reuter Gold oil. We have some lovely wild venison rump steaks, we have beef stock, I have some star anise, ground allspice, we have a splash of soya, we have some butter, clementine, some little carrots,
I have some garlic, we'll be using some onion, a splash of honey, I have root vegetables, and then of course we can't forget about our Bushmills whiskey. Now, so let's start with the venison. I want my pan to be quite hot. I can see it's up to temperature now. I'm going to season up the little wild venison steaks. Now, these are great for even just frying on a char grill, or you can have them, you can roast them in the oven. Very versatile, very lean meat, very good for you. So a little bit of black pepper, and I'm going to season up with a little sea salt. And what I want to do is just colour them first in the pan. Now, this dish that I'm going to be making is a complete one pot dish. It's going to be braised all in the pan together. But first I want to colour the venison. So we'll just give it about a minute on each side. Maybe a little bit more oil. Butter gold, of course. Wouldn't be using anything else. Now you can see they're starting to seal up a little. So I'm going to colour these first, and then I'm going to remove. Then I'm going to use the pan and add in the ingredients one by one. And then after that I'll return the steaks to the pan. Now I'll just turn them over. Now you can see that they're getting a nice colour on top. There you go. Venison. Nice and sealed, and then browning in the pan you get a lovely flavour. This is the base of the flavour for the whole braised dish. So they're nicely sealed. Just a couple more wee seconds. Now I'm going to remove those, and I'm just going to set them in a little bit of kitchen roll just to soak up the juices. And then we're going to turn our pan up a little bit more. And we're going to start with the other ingredients. So I want to add carrots. We're just putting them in whole because we're going to cook those with the venison. And we have some half onion. So I'm just going to set those down. Now these vegetables are going to cook in the dish with the venison when we get there, and absorb all the flavour and then add to the complete dish as well. Now the pan's nice and hot. We're going to add 2 star anise. Gives you a lovely flavour as well. Goes beautiful with venison. Venison's lovely with red currant and spices, that type of thing. I have a little bit of allspice, which I'm just going to put a little, about 1/3 of a teaspoon in. It smells incredible here already. So I have a couple of cloves of garlic that I've just roughly chopped. Now I'm going to add a little bit of butter. I want these to brown up a little bit. Now I have the onions and the carrots, star anise, garlic in the pan. It's quite hot. I'm going to reintroduce the venison to the pan on either side. It's getting nice and hot. So as you can see, this is like building up the dish in the pan. Getting nice and hot. So now I'm going to add in some of the lovely whiskey. And the lovely flambe, just to burn off some of the alcohol. That looks absolutely lovely. And we've reduced that a little bit. I'm now going to add in my beef stock. There's about 400 mils here. And a little splash of soya. And we have some clementine juice, which I'm just going to squeeze in. Again, a lovely acidity then to the sauce from the orange, goes well with the spice. Breaks down the venison meat. And a little squeeze of honey. And honey will help to thicken up the sauce whenever we're doing the reduction later on. And finally, one little knob of butter. Lovely. So, we have everything in the pan, a little pinch of pepper. I won't season it yet, I'll try that later on. So we have everything in the pan, and we're just going to bring it up to a nice boil, and then I'm going to put the lid on it, and we're going to leave it for about 45 minutes to an hour. We'll just check it as we go along, but I want the sauce to reduce down, and we're braising the venison in the beautiful juices. I'm just checking the venison again, and the sauce is just reduced down to where we want it. It's coming to a nice sauce consistency. The aromas are absolutely delicious. So I think we're actually ready now to plate up. So what I'm going to do is, usually at the Bushmills banquet we have main courses, lots of little smaller dishes. So I'm going to plate up two similar type dishes that we would have used on the evening and show you which way we would usually present it. So our venison is just about ready. I'll move that to the side. Turn that off. And I have some of the root vegetable mash, which I'm just going to put a little bit of on the plate. Little quenelle, as you like it. Now, this venison is really lovely and tender, so we're just going to set it on the side. And I don't know about you, but these vegetables, the onion and the carrot that has been cooked in the pan, is absolutely delicious. So I'm just going to set some of that, one each, on the side of the dish. Delicious. Again, I'll set that there. And a couple of the little carrots. And they will be delicious as well. And then we're going to just drizzle some of this delicious jus on top. And the flavours are mighty, absolutely lovely. And we're just going to finish with a little chive flower. These are from the Ivy Cottage Garden from Roy and Stella Bolton, so thank you guys. Just to add a little bit of colour at the end. And there we go. There we have our slow braised wild venison, root vegetables and the spiced whiskey jus. Enjoy. It's now almost time to serve up something sweet, and we are delighted to introduce you to another producer from the artisan market. None other than Linda McGibbon of Sea Sugar Handmade Confectionery. Linda's delicious range of sweets have garnered many awards, but don't let me tell you about how good they are. Here is Linda herself to tell us more about her exquisite produce.
Hello, I'm Linda McGibbon from Sea Sugar Handmade Confectionery. I am very glad to be joining you virtually in Bushmills this evening from my workshop in Larne. Sea Sugar Handmade Confectionery, as you could probably imagine, produces a range of handmade confectionery, specifically hard pulled natural sweets, such as these boys. They have got nothing artificial added to them. They come in a range of 8 flavours and they've become increasingly popular. I would sell them a lot online. I sell them through stockists and I sell them through markets and events, most specifically from the events organised by Naturally North Coast and Glens. If things had gone as they were planned to this year, we would have been at the Salmon and Whisky Festival in Bushmills this weekend. Unfortunately, that wasn't to be. It's an awful shame because we really look forward to this event. We have a fantastic time. We sell lots of sweets. We have great crack with some of the customers and the other traders. The group Naturally North Coast and Glens I have been with for 4 years now, and as a small business starting out, I received the most fantastic help from them, support, encouragement and feedback from my customers. When you produce something new, you like to get immediate feedback. What customers like, what do they not like, what do they buy, what do they not buy. And it was an amazing test bed for a small producer to start off in. So Naturally North Coast and Glens for me is and was the best possible start. Unfortunately, with events as they are, there are no markets happening at the moment. If I know any of the traders at all, they will not be sitting complacently doing absolutely nothing. They'll be working away and finding other means to make a living, quite honestly. Naturally North Coast and Glens has assembled everybody into one online shop, and you can see it here at naturallynorthcoastandglens.co.uk. So go along there, have a look at it. All of the traders are listed, everything that they sell, where you can buy it, everything is there. Have a wee look, support local. Thanks very much, enjoy your evening.
Our next chef certainly needs no introduction. One half of The Lamps, a husband and wife musical duo, Stephen Lampard is of course the talented head chef at Bushmills Eatery, Tartine. Let's watch his demo and see him cook up the perfect culinary end to this superb Bushmills banquet.
Stephen Lampard here, the head chef of Tartine Restaurant, Distillers Arms in Bushmills. Tonight I'm going to be cooking for you mille-feuille, classic wee French dessert, wee twist of my own. It's a great initiative that we're doing this for. It's all for the Salmon and Whiskey Festival, and it's all going to be virtual. So Stella's done the starter, Gary Stewart has done the main course, and now I will be preparing your dessert for you. So, let's get cooking. Okay folks, so the first things first, we need to get the pastry in the oven because it needs to cook and then it needs to cool before we get all the other components to build the dish itself. So, a little bit of puff pastry. Now you can get this frozen in your local shops, co-ops, bars, whatever you have. I got this down the wee co-op there. I got my raspberries down in Carson Glasses, the wee fruit veg shop down in Bushmills. I've got my lovely wee bottle of Red Bush, my favourite, and I've got some sugar and cream also from the local shop. What we need now, if you followed any of the videos before, 2 wee pieces of greaseproof paper and something to roll with. So, all you want to do is start just gently flattening your puff pastry. It just makes it easier if you don't have a rolling pin like me and you've got some cling film in the house. So what you want to do is just start to roll it flat. So there we've got the puff pastry rolled out quite flat there. We're talking only a couple of, maybe a centimetre thickness. And all you want to do is square it off. So square it off as closest to one edge as you possibly can. So you're minimalising wastage. Any trim that you have left, you can put it back into the bag and you can keep it for sausage rolls or another mille-feuille, why not? So what I've got here is 1 Glenballymena egg yolk, and you just with a brush, just lightly brush it over, just the top side. That's going to help you get a lovely wee crisp texture on it. Not too much. Pop that on your tray and then place it in the oven. Putting that in the oven at close to as 200 degrees as you can. Any lower than that, any lower than 180, what's going to happen is your pastry is going to take a long time to rise, and then that's how you'll end up sinking it. So you want to get 200 degrees, let it rise as quick as you can. Just peek open into the oven, have a little check, make sure it's not browning too much on the top. Once it's risen, just turn it down slightly, just so the heat doesn't make it sink. If you turn the heat off too quick, what will happen is it'll start to collapse. If you have the heat up fully all the way, what will happen is your pastry will burn. You want to cook that for roughly 10 to 12 minutes. After about 8 minutes, turn the heat down slightly to about 180 and just keep it finishing. Once the time's out, just turn your oven off, open the door, and just let it come down gently so it doesn't sink. I'll tell you the recipe. This is a wee raspberry coulis that I made just to garnish the mille-feuille. What I done here was took some raspberries out, about 100 grams of raspberries, and I put them in a pan. Dusted a little bit of sugar over the top of it and a splash of water. I brought it up to temperature dead quick, turned the heat off, and just let the warmth of the pan continue to reduce the water and caramelise the ice and sugar around the raspberries. Then transferred it into a bowl and I blitzed it until relatively smooth. Now you can still see the seeds in it. If you've got a little sieve, you don't like the seeds, if you've got a little sieve at home, just pass it through the sieve. If not, that texture there is just lovely. So this goes a long way. I know there's a lot there. We'll not be using it all in the dish, but you can always keep it in your fridge, cling film it, keep it in the fridge, and use it over the top of ice cream. What we're going to do now, folks, is start to macerate the raspberries. Now what I'm going to do to speed this wee process up, to get ready for the plate up, is I'm going to put a little pan on, quite a low heat. I'll throw the raspberries in, little dusting of ice and sugar, a splash of the Bushmills whiskey. So the raspberries just into the pan, just a real light sprinkle of icing sugar. Now this is predominantly a nice sweet dessert. The whiskey's going to add a lovely cutting edge right through, just to cut through all that sweetness, and pair the raspberries up with the sweet cream, the sweet pastry, and the Kool-Aid. As the raspberries are slowly rendering down, I'm just going to pour the cream in to the bowl to start whipping it. But before I do that, I'm going to add a splash of whiskey in with the raspberries. You just want to start cooking that out nice and gently. As the raspberries are working away there, I'm just going to start to whip this cream. So that's the cream whipped there. I love booze, so may as well add a bit of whiskey into it. You don't have to. I will. The liquor has slightly reduced. I'm just going to turn the heat off, lift it aside, and let it sit there to cool while we decorate our mille-feuille. Just going to check on the puff pastry. That looks ready, so I'm just going to turn the oven off. Open the door slightly with a wee cloth in. Just let some of the heat out, but keep the warmth in there and let it cool gradually so it doesn't sink. So that's our puff pastry ready there. We'll just let it sit and cool for a few moments. Our pastry's nice and cool. We're just gonna cut it in half. Now we're gonna start to build the plate. So a little bit of Kool-Aid. I'm gonna use some gold powder because I've got two princesses that live in the house with me. I've got a little barbecue fork here. I'm going to put lovely lines on the top of my puff pastry to complete the look of the dish. All you need to do is put it on the warmth. I like to do this to give the dish a little bit of pizzazz. So on the underside, a little bit of cream on the plate, the pastry on top, and that helps it from sliding all over the place. Just checking my barbecue fork, it's warming up nicely. So what I'm going to do is a bit of icing sugar over the top of the pastry. So you can do it in the gas ring like this. If you have an electric hob, you can put it on the hob. I don't recommend holding a lighter to it or placing it in the fire. All you want to do is follow your lines around. So next up, we're just going to place a little bit of cream on top of the pastry. Some of the lovely macerated raspberries on top. And you'll want the lovely basting juices. Gently place the lid back on. And like I say, I've got a few princesses, so few wee sparkles, and a wee pill of chocolate. There we are, folks. This is my lovely Milfoy with macerated raspberries in Bushmills whiskey, some fresh Kool-Aid and fresh cream. Do feel free to give it a go. I hope you've enjoyed Stella's starter, Gary's main course, and now my dessert. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the Salmon and Whiskey Festival. Thank you.
Well everybody, that brings us to the end of the fantastic Bushmills banquet, and I hope everybody enjoyed all the music and all the food and the dishes and all the displays from the chefs, and it's been a great adventure. But I say we're at the end, so we're going to have a parting glass as such. Now, not the traditional whiskey, because recently we had World Whiskey Day in May, so Tartine, we invented a cocktail called a Bushmills Woo Woo. So we thought with Bushmills whiskey being such an international brand, we could get away with a Hawaiian tinged cocktail. So what we're going to use is some Bushmills whiskey. We have triple sec, we have pineapple juice, and we have lime juice. So what we want to do is we will chill our glass with a couple of ice cubes first. This is very easy to replicate now at home. And then on our cocktail shaker, we'll have some ice cubes. And then I'm going to add, it's 15 mils of lime. We have 40 mils of pineapple juice. Then 25 mils of triple sec. Lovely. And then last but not least, we have our lovely Bushmills whiskey, which we're all very proud of. There we go. Now, just put the lid on. And we're going to give this a good shake, just to infuse all the ingredients. We want it nice and cold. Give it a good few seconds. That feels good to me. Just take off our little lid. Now, our chilled glass, we'll get rid of our ice. And we're just going to pour. Lovely, refreshing Bushmills Woo Woo cocktail. And just garnish with a lovely wedge of lime. And of course, to finish the banquet, we have to have a toast. And this one was recently shared by the lovely Lynn Bryce of the Old Bushmills Distillery. So it just goes for me to say, here's to the wild, here's to the free, here's to you, and here's to me. Here's to those that quietly do. This Bushmills moment goes to you. Thank you, and I hope you have all enjoyed the Bushmills banquet. Delicious.